US US health insurance system. How does the US health system work? Healthcare in the United States is organized in a complex bureaucracy, while in the rest of the world healthcare facilities are run mostly by governments or by private sector business. In the US USA, large share of hospital and clinics are run by private non-profit organizations. Yet the United States is the country and has the higher highest healthcare expenditures in the world. While these expenditures are covered in a large share by public players as by federal institutions or state and local governments. They can also be covered by private insurance and individual payments. At the same time, unlike most dependable developed nations, the US health system does not provide health care to its entire population, as there is no single nationwide system of health insurance. The United States primarily relies on employers who evaluate voluntary provide health insurance covers to their employees and depends. In addition, the government has programs that tend to cover healthcare expense for the fragile parts of the society as the elderly, disabled, and the poor. These programs differ from one another and all have a specific kind of people that are subject to getting health insurance in the US in not an easy thing. Someone may think that once you have many, everything is easily piercing. But in fact, things are a bit more complicated. One must be very careful and look out to pick the right insurance. Health insurance is the United States for non-citizens. The United States government does not provide health insurance for all its people, and health insurance is not obligatory for those living in the US. It is optional but highly recommended and necessary since health insurance health services are very costly, more than in any other country anywhere across the globe. There are two types of health insurance in the US: private and public. Most people use a combination of both. The US public health insurance are medical, Medicare, and Citizens Health Insurance Program. Medicare. Medicare is a national health insurance program that date back to 1966. It provides health insurance for US nationals nationals older than 65 years old, but also for younger people with end-stage renal disease ALS and some other disabilities. Data shows that in 2080 Medicare provide almost 60 millions provide individuals with health insurance in the US, over 51 millions of which are older than 65. The Medicare program in divided into four parts. Parts 1, which covers hospital, skilled nursing and hospice service. Part B, cover outpatient service, including some providers service while inpatients at a hospital. Outpatient hospital charge. Part C is an alternative called managed Medicare, which permits patients to select health plans with at latest the same service coverage as Part A and Part B. Obtain the benefits of Part D and as annual out-of-pocket spent limit which A and B log. To sign in this part on most sing in Part A and Part B. Part D covers mostly self-administered prescription drugs. Medicaid. Medicaid is a federal and state program that helps people with limited income and resources to cover medical cost. While covering benefits normally outcovered by Medicare as nursing home care and personal care service. It is the largest source of funding for medical and health related service for people with low income in the United States. Data which that the US provide health insurance to 71 millions people with low income or disabilities, which is 23% of the total of the US population. Children's Health Program, Children's Health Insurance Program. Formerly known as the State Children's Health Insurance Program SCHIP. This is a program that covers with health insurance children of families with modest income that are not low youth to qualify for Medicaid. The Affordable Care Act Obamacare the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act is a federal state signed into law by President Obama, which made it mandatory for every citizens to have health insurance for or be painlessly. The act subsidies for low income families by accessing health care providers and high income families, as it was designed to lower that care cost while providing better than health care for Americans. The Affordable Care Act allowed patients to add their children up to the age of 26 to their policies in a bid to have younger healthy people paying premiums. It also allowed poorer people to get treatment for chronic illness instead of using the emergency room. US provide health insurance. There are about a thousand provide health insurance provider in the US, with each of them offering different plans with different peaks, which largely depended on a person's medical history. However, while there are individual plans covering only one persons, there are also group plans targeting families in particular. Usually there are the types of health insurance in the United States. Traditional fee for service health insurance plans, which plans are usually the most expensive, that this with an income lower than the average income in the US have difficulties to purchase. However, these are the best plans as they offer you most flexibility. Health maintenance organizations HMOs, which offers a limited source of healthcare providers, yet it also offers lower co-payments and cover the cost of more preventive care. They are eventual and accorded to by the National Committee for Quality Insurance Assurance. Preferred provider organizations PPOS, which just like homes offer lower payments, but they give you more flexibility when selecting a provider, as they give you a list of providers among which you can choose. How to choose a good US health insurance plan? When looking up for a good health insurance plan, make sure you ask questions like: does that plan get you with the right to go to any doctor's hospitals, clinic or pharmacy you choose? Are specialists such as eye doctors and dentists covered? Does the plan cover special conditions or treatments such as pregnancy, psycho psychiatrics care and physical therapy? Does the plan cover home care or nursing home care and medicates as physician might prescribe? What are the de- deducts deductible? Are there any co-payments? What is the most you will have to pay out of May one pocket to cover expense? Make sure You also understand have a, how a dispute about a bill or service in handed by your provider as in some plans. You may be required to have a third party decide how to style the problem. We recommended to GeoBlue Explorer plan for foreigner to in the United States. Health insurance requirements for foreign visitors in the US. Through the United States, through authorities have not made health insurance mandatory for short-term travels to the country as B1, B2 visa holders. It is highly recommended for every traveler to get insurance before their trip to the country. The main resource any you should get insurance is that health insurance is the in the US extremely expensive, and when a checkup for a simple headache will cost by hundred of dollars, will a broken lamp limb will cost by thousands. Health insurance health insights are never foreseen. Therefore, it is best to be prepared for it and get insurance. So, in case of need, you save yourself money. Yourself money. Health insurance options for legal immigrations. Immigrants immigrants that are lawfully present in the United States are eligible to get provide health insurance in the US. In addition, lawful immigrants may also eligible for lower cost on monthly premiums and lower out of pocket cost based on your income as follows. Those with annual income 400% of the federal feder- federal provide low level or below may be eligible for premium tax credit and other saving on marketplace insurance, whereas those with annual household income in below 100% federal provide level that are not otherwise eligible for Medicaid or are eligible for premium tax credit and other saving on marketplace insurance. Given that many they meet all other eligibility requirements, most of the time qualified non-citizens are eligible for coverage through Medicare and Children's Health Insurance Program CHIP, given that they meet the income and residency rules of the state where they are based. Qualified or non-citizens are considered the following: lawful payments residents, asylees, refugees, veterate non-citizens, and spawns city children or patients victim of trafficking and his or her spouse, child, sibling, or patient or individual with a pending application for a victim of trafficking trafficking visa. Cuban oblique heightened interest. This parallel into the US for at least 1 year. Conditions entered gradient before 1980. The gradient withholding of deportation and members of a federally recognized Indian Tribal of America Indians born in Canada. However, most of them will need to wait for 5 years in the US order to get Medicare and CHIP coverage in the US after they get qualified. Refugees and asylees are exempt from the waiting paid period. In addition, states have the option to mobilize the 5 years waiting period for children and pregnant women so they can be covered by Medicare and CHIP. You can get a free US health insurance quote here. While you are free to choose the plan that suit you best, we recommend the Geo Blue Exploring health insurance options for illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants in the US can get health coverage only from providers as the US government founded health insurance does not cover them. Community center can provide medical help to undocumented immigrants in the US, which is termed safety net provider if the health care seeker can participate in free for service medical assistance. Private health insurance in Canada. Canada Health Care and Medicare Insurance. The Canadian health care system is primarily operated by the government and treatment is private to Canada citizens and residents with a 70% subsidy. Attest this means that the Canadian government will typically pay 70% of all Medicare medical cost for individuals that qualify for the public medical system. Despite the considerable variation of healthcare provisions across the various Canadian provinces, province and territories, it is standard that the Canadian Public Health Insurance ASHM will pay for medically necessary treatment, allowing the Canadian public easy and reliable access to some of the highest quality medical care in the world. Canadians' public health care system deposit the extremely high quality of care attribute to the public healthcare system in Canada. There are some major concerns, mainly pertaining to treatment waiting times and the number of trained doctors and nurses providing treatment. In some studies, it was reported that approximately 57% of Canadians wait more than 4 weeks to see a specialist concerning various treatments, with the highest waiting times coming from patients who require orthopedic surgery or these individuals suffering from cancer. These waiting times have been attributed to a lack of sufficiently qualified medical practitioners. The reason of the shortage has mainly been cited as the inability of doctors in the Canadian healthcare service to make an income comparable to their counterparts in the USA, something that has seen almost of one out of every 9 Canadian doctors relocate to America. In addition to this, there has been a major issue with certain provinces creating salary structures in a closed market situation, leading to many doctors complaining that their income has dropped radically. Private health insurance in Canada. Deposit this. However, the Canadian healthcare system has a worldwide reputation of being, being able to provide extremely high quality care and treatment. It is it is this reputation in conjunction with the nation's high standard of living that has seen immigration levels remain constantly high. It is important to note, however, that newly arrived extremists or immigrants are not intended to treatment under the Canadian Healthcare Act until they have been in the century of a provide of not less than 3 months. This can cause some concern for this non-eligible individual as out-of-pocket payment for treatment in Canada can be extremely expensive. In addition to this, many Canadians who are attempting to relocate overseas are unaware that our nation's health insurance same will not continue to cover them once they level the country, and that there will normally be a waiting period for the resumption of coverage once they return. Due to this, that it is conjunction with the long waiting times associated with treatments, it is estimated that approximately 65% of all residents are covered by some form of private healthcare in Canada. This ensure that they are able to seek alternative treatment route in the event that the waiting period or too long, and insurance that they will have coverage hideout of the country in the event that they need it. We can provide national Canada health insurance plans to newly arrived foreign nations in Canada that will approach you with high quality coverage around the world plans, and we can offer will always have a number of benefits accept accept to the coverage, which can include outpatient and maternally attempt patient consultations, alternative therapies, therapies, dental protection, and emergency evaluation coverage. P. This Canada Health This Canada health insurance plans are typically generated renewable for life and globally portable, meaning that we will always be assured of the coverage you need. This marks the type of plans protect for individual of familiars families relocating to Canada or Canadian nations located around the world. Canada across and attemptedly large are area and due to the prevalence of tourists and adventurers for participating in outdoor or extreme sports activities, the danger risk is very real. The standard of healthcare in Canada is of an extremely high standard, and outside of the public medical system, there are many ex- excellent private hospital and clinics. However, it is important to note that visitors or newly arrived ex, expert expatriates are not eligible to receive coverage under the national healthcare plan, and most obtain some form of comprehensive insurance coverage. Health insurance in Thailand. Health insurance for foreigner in Thailand. There are several reasons why medical insurance for foreigners in Thailand is not just a good idea, but a crucial matter to consider for several reasons. Even though hospital treatment is cheap in Thailand by Western, particularly American standards, any reasons serious serious inpatient treatment such as surgery or cancer treatments, for example, can be painfully expensive at a top notch hospital and can waftly but put a hang stain on your freelance. Also, retired experts now need to show health insurance documentation to be eligible for their yearly retirement extensions. So, let's take a look at some of the key points to consider when choosing a policy. Foreign or Thai insurance policy. When you first come to Thailand, you may already hold comprehensive travel or medical insurance for your home city. For your home country, experts who's the obtain the long stay non-immigration a visa from their home country will need to show evidence of a health insurance policy that cover the holder from 40,000 with 1,340 up outpatient and 40,000 with inpatient cost as a minimum. This policy can be from a insurance provider in your home country or one in Thailand. However, an important point to note is that once you can come to obtain your yearly extension at a immigration office in Thailand, it will be to be from a approved that insurance company has something to be aware if you are considering purchasing a new policy before traveling. COVID-19 insurance. The outbreak of COVID-19 caused the Thai government to bring in new regulations, meaning that anyone traveling to Thailand, regardless of age, will be required to show an insurance policy with coverage of a minimum 1 million of medical treatment, including COVID-19 coverage of arrival at the airport. It will also need to cover you waste in Thailand for the entry duration of your stay. If you don't need all of these requirements, then you won't be allowed to enter the country. So it's very vital to check and double check your policy before traveling. Just because your current policy is sufficient for your embassy to issue you with a visa does not mean that it will cover COVID-19. So if ensure contact an insurance provider to confirm that this. Insurance for non-immigrant OA visa. As mentioned, a policy from your home country would likely have been used to obtain your any vital visa to enter Thailand. But when you attend your local immigrant to obtain your 1 year retirement extension, the policy will need to be from an approved Thai insurance provider. The approved provider are LMG, the Variant Pacific Cross, Falcon Thai Vita, AXA Insurance Thailand, Navakis, Dipaya, Asia Insurance, Atentna and Shoppo Insurance. You will need to obtain your policy in plenty of time, as you will be required to present all of the original documents when applying for your extension. Again, the policy will need to cover an absolute minimum 40,000 bed outpatient and 40,000 bed inpatient cost. Note: foreigner with a retirement visa based on a non-immigrants or O visa will be not required to have health insurance by immigration via Baria. How to obtain your policy? If we are in Thailand already, the assist obtain is to go to an insurance broker and have then do all the legwork for you. Ring assist to make an appointment and find out that documents they wasn't want to see. There are insurance brokers in very Thai town, and if you were in an area popular with tourists and expects, it should be easy to find one that speak English. Alternatively, you can look at the website for the above companies and use their online tool to obtain a quote. After entering your details and choose the provider who is offer the best value. Be careful when choosing your policy and don't just automatically go for the cheapest. Take care to examine the fine print, particularly the exclusive. Another important point to consider is the insurance reputation, as many will do their utmost to avoid paying any claim. Legitimate or not, it's now fairly easy to research the companies when online review sites being very popular. Insurance policy inclusions: health insurance for expatriates and local living in Thailand may avail the following insurance policy inclusion, but limited to: high cover for hospitalization and outpatient, full cover for cancer treatments, full cover for new chronic conditions, dental, mentally and health check-up option, pre-exciting conditions, and be covered if declared and accepted. Generate returnability, multiple international coverage options, coverage for congenital animals. Insurance policy exclusions. It's important to consider the exclusions of is policy, as most policies come with a long it of then all written into the fine print, and once you have your policy in place. Always be mindful of what you are and are not covered to avoid a financial disaster. Some of the more common exclusive include the following. If you false information in provide when applying for your policy will be null and avoid. Although you might not realize that until you come to make a claim. If you have any pre-exciting medical conditions when you do not de- declare, then your policy will also be avoid. Very few policies will cover you for motorcycle accidents, with this being sadly very common in Thailand, with expensive repercussions. Never assume you are covered for such events unless you have a double checked with your provider first. Even the ones that do cover you will apply pay out if you hold a valid Thai motorcycle insurance or international driving permit. Wearing a helmet and not drug any alcohol and could provide that you are not a fault. If you will be driving a lot, then it would make sense to take out a separate policy for this. Anything to do with alcoholism. If you are an alcoholic or heavy drinker and people can know about it, expect the insurance to use a provide investigation investigator who will uncover that fact, and any claim will be immediately decided. Likewise, if you were even mentally inebriated at the time of the inside, they will not pay out. Any losses caused by a natural disaster, an act of God, or by an act of terrorism will not be covered. Any injuries or losses caused by dangerous activities such as rock climbing, water sports, or even cycling will usually not be covered. This can even go as far as any sports altogether, but policies vary on this. So check when applying if you intend to engage in any kind of support or activity. Sexually transmitted diseases are likely to not be covered by most policy unless especially specifically stated. HIV treatment can be particularly expensive, so that's something to consider if you are sexually active. Got a quite. Although Thailand is generally a very safe country, things can and do some things go wrong no matter how healthy or courteous you consider yourself to be. Taking your time to select the policy and matches your needs instead of just choosing the cheapest option will be time and money very well spent. Choosing a policy can be confusing, so if in doubled hit to an against will assist you very step of the way, enabling you to enjoy your time in Thailand without worry. With insurance no mandatory to enter the country and obtain your visa extension, it's something and that very visitors to Thailand needs to deal with. You may check on the link below to get a quote for your health insurance in Thailand. Healthcare in the United Arab Emirates. What do I need to receive healthcare in the UAE? Both state and private healthcare exist in the UAE. The country boasts state-of-the-art healthcare facilities, some of the best in the region. All residents, including experts, can access state health service at a 50% reduced rate if they process a health card. However, public facilities are limited and many foreign residents take out private health insurance to access a wider and quicker range of service. Do I need private health insurance in UAE? If you live in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, health insurance is a legal requirement and you will be subjected to monthly finish if you don't have it. Insurance is usually arranged by employers and will give you access to the best health care available in the UAE. For anyone is private health insurance is the advised option in the order to receive treatment from the best doctors and facilities in the best quality UAE hospital. Health insurance in the UAE. If you are shopping around for your one private health insurance package in the UAE, make sure that you consider all the options and find the deal that's best for you. question you might want to ask include: Number 1. Does the package cover family members? Most understand private health insurance policy are tailored towards individual coverage. If you want to include additional family members, you will usually have to ask for this to be added on. Shop around to see who offers the best deals for family friendly coverage. Number 2. Are there any residence limitations or inclusions on the policy, e.g. relating to as or pre-existing conditions? Private firms place higher premiums based on factors including as health profile and lifestyle. If you have any chronic conditions or a history of ill health, you may be refused coverage or required to pay higher premiums. Shop around for the most comprehensive coverage. 3. What's a coverage gap and include IV affected? If you are traveling to the UAE from a country where you are covered by public health insurance or a private policy that only cover you within that country, you could leave yourself exposed to a coverage gap between leaving your old residence and sorting out your new insurance policy. The best way around this is to look into setting up a private policy before you arrive in the UAE. You can also opt for international coverage which can be used in multiple locations. 4. I am covered while I travel. Many national insurance companies in the UAE will only cover you for treatment within the country or possibly extending as far as night boating Gulf countries for medical coverage when traveling is where an expert-friendly international health insurance plan could be the most sensible option. Number 5. What treatments are covered? This very much depends on that level of coverage you take out. Most private insurance for a range of coverage packages that start with basic coverage and extends to cover things such as expensive dental treatment, specialist care and alternative therapies. Number 6. How strict for what is the process for making a claim? The claims process is the UAE varies from insurance to insurance insurer. Some will deals directly with healthcare provider and pay bills on your behalf, while others require you to pay upfront and claim a reimbursement if we are worried about having to individually cover cost. Look for a provider who will sort out claims.